What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of my Trailblazers podcast. Today, I am joined by a man called Sascha Myer. Now, Sascha and I first met at our mutual friends' running events where we ran about 20 kilometers together. And I wanted to bring him on today because he tried to do something incredibly remarkable, which was he tried to run from Brisbane to Sydney and break the fastest known time, which would approximate to about 100 kilometers per day over 10 days. Now, for those of you who have no experience in running, most people can't even run 10 kilometers in one go. Most people. And Sascha is here trying to run 100 kilometers per day over 10 days, all in the effort to raise money for organ donation. Besides this crazy feat of trying to run that far, that quickly, he's also a personal trainer and group fitness instructor and a Taekwondo black belt. So Sascha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Sascha, I wanted to ask you, first of all, what even got you thinking about running 100 kilometers in 10 days? 100 kilometers every day for 10 days to get from Brisbane to Sydney?
Yeah, what got me thinking? That's a good question. So my original plan was actually running from Darwin to Sydney, but because I couldn't find a crew, so that all got a little bit crazy. Then I was crazy enough to think I can do it by myself, and I checked out the route, and that wouldn't have ended well either. Even worse than the Brisbane to Sydney run, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, just carrying the water sometimes for like such a big distance is just impossible, right? So that was just absolutely crazy. So I thought about Brisbane to Sydney, which back then Joe Ward, he was holding the record for 11 days and 7 hours. And so I thought, let's give this a crack and go from there. Yeah.
11 days and 7 hours. How many kilometers was that roughly per day?
I think he did a double marathon a day.
Okay.
So it was original, but beginning May this year, a guy called Lachlan Cameron, he actually is holding the record at the moment. He beat the record by exactly 1 day. He did it in 10 days and 7 hours, so he exactly beat it by 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, okay, new goal. Let's try to get a record. I still wanted to get a record, and he was running. Yeah, he had some 100-kilometer days, 90 kilometers and stuff. I think average he was running 90 Ks or something like that a day. So
Right.
yeah, average, if I do the maths correct, it was 900. It's 925 kilometers he was running here.
Yeah. So if you were able to do 100 kilometers per day, how much would you have broken that record by?
Good by another day. By another day.
Okay, so you were trying to be done by basically 9 days, almost 9 and a half.
It would have been 9 days and X hours, correct? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But before this, you actually wanted to do Darwin. Isn't that even further?
Yeah, Darwin was further. Darwin was further, and the reason why I wanted to Darwin, I was living during my backpacker times. I was living in Darwin, and I haven't been up since 2010. I left Darwin in 2010, so I've never been back since then. I thought, that would be a great way to see it again because the Northern Territory is just beautiful. You know, it's really nice up there. I really have good memories, so I thought let's do Darwin to Sydney. Yeah, that was the goal. But then like you need, which I know now that I started Brisbane to Sydney, I know what a big commitment it is just on the team as well. So you need a proper team. Like I know I guess you're following Sean Bell at the moment as well, and there's so many people behind him, and there's a lot of organization. Just the logistics is just huge. You know, it's not just running. When you do something like that big, like Sean Bell is doing, or what I planned originally, your job, I think, should be running, nothing else, right? You need people who say, okay, this is the route and whatever. I guess you have to communicate a lot, but you need a team like who literally you come to wherever you do your break. I think food should be ready, this should be ready, and you just like you see beautiful footage from Sean Bell. He's lying down, he's eating at the same time. He get his feet taped and everything. You know,
Yeah.
it's just amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge commitment. You know, that also on the team. You know what I mean? That's just massive. You know, and I was not upset about anyone not going with me. I mean, it's a big commitment. It would have been 2 months. I was planning 80 kilometers a day, so that would have been around 2 months. So asking someone or even my partner if she would get off work 2 months, you know, that's a big commitment, you know what I mean? So it's also a financial thing as well, massive financial responsibility as well, for sure.
Yeah, wouldn't it be so much easier if people would just pay you to run? Yeah,
Uh,
just
yeah,
$1,000 a week, just go run for us.
Yeah, I always say like my dream as a child like was always like Sydney 2000 when the Olympics was the first time Taekwondo was Olympic. It was here in Sydney, and I was always like as a teenager, how cool would it be, man, being one day the Olympics. So, and I think what I've done now is the closest I probably will ever get to being a professional athlete in like the training and all this stuff, and I said it would be how cool would it be, right? You just get paid to just train all day and do nothing else. You know?
Yeah, but I'm sure you already do train the same level as an athlete. I'm sure you're
Yeah,
putting in the same hours. It's
yeah.
just that you don't get paid
Yeah,
when
that's
they
just
do. I was the
like
same, man.
some people doing the same, asking me, "What, you do that for free?" You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I was the same, man. When I made the Australian team for weightlifting,
Yeah,
I did the same hours as athletes, except when they finish training and go home to sleep and eat, you
you
go to
work.
work.
Exactly.
You know, because I wasn't getting paid either, just like you. And you finish everything, and even if you had finished the race, still no money at the end of it.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just for your own satisfaction.
This is definitely that's like what I think what I learned out of this is it's a big commitment, you know. Like, and I love this quote from Usain Bolt. Like, he trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. Some people trying something for a couple of days and give up, you know. Like that's a big commitment, you know. And it was great to experience that. And yeah, but I'm not finished yet. So
Yeah. Oh, who knows? After this one in December, you might go to make it even longer
yeah.
and try a different route.
Definitely, that's yeah. Like I said to you, like I want to give it another crack in December. Run Brisbane to Sydney again, and it's gonna be different. Of course, it's gonna be a little bit warmer than now. That's for sure. You know,
Yeah.
so all different problems which will be there. But yeah, that's something we can train towards too. You know, Dan is my coach, so I know I'm in good hands with him.
Yeah. And if there's anybody who knows how to run extremely, it's him.
It's him. Yeah. That's
There's no one else I know within this, well, just this country alone. I'll just say this country alone that does what he's doing.
yeah, it's just amazing. Like every time I don't feel like doing something, I don't have time. This excuse I don't have time. I
Yeah.
think about him, you know, there's always time, you know.
Yeah.
He's working full time, you know, got his business on the side, and getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to run and stuff is you wake up at 6 a.m. and he already has 3 sessions in or something like that.
Yeah. By the time you go to bed, he's almost up already.
Stuff again. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
to watch.
Before we get into the actual running itself and the training, I really want to understand your process there. What even got you to want to run for this? You know, I mentioned organ donation, but I think it'd be cool to understand a little bit more about that aspect and why running was the vehicle you used to raise awareness for this.
Yeah, so I was like I said, my background was martial arts, and I was always running on and off, but not structured, just for fitness. Like you go maybe once a week for a run, you know. But like I we always make it a little bit of a joke with my friends. Like most people in their 30s, we all have some kind of, you get into depressions or whatever. Yeah, like most people, I was lost for a long time, to be honest. And I contact Danielle December, November 2021 for the first time, where I said, okay, I want some structure in my life. Like I was really lost, and I just said, I looked in the mirror and said, I can't live like this anymore. I need to change. I need to change something. It's just, I had enough. The way I was living, I was going nowhere. work was okay, you know, I was still working and stuff, but I was not happy with myself, you know what I mean? So I contact Daniel. I always thought running is easy. Let's make it a little bit more structured.
Yeah.
I can run. I always said I can run. It's okay. I'm fast. I know I can do this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ran the first email to him as well. I said I'm fast. You know, I think I should concentrate more on other things. But I was so fast that I always cracked after 10 or 12 kilometers because I always just went 100%. I guess
Yeah,
like in people, you know, just always go hard, go hard, go hard.
yeah, yeah,
So Daniel got some structure into my running.
yeah.
My first goal was to run a half marathon. And once I've done that, I was actually saying to him, mate, F that, I'm not running anymore. Like, how do people run a full marathon? There was not that's impossible. I said to myself, I was so dead after my half marathon. And I'd actually stopped for 1 or 2 months running. I said, I can't do this. I'm done. Like, you know,
Mm.
I don't want anymore. And I said, I'm do it without a coach. I'm go on my own. So but there was again no structure anymore. I went once a week, a little bit here, once a week, a little bit there. And as you maybe know, like, and then I understood finally now why people have a coach, because I wouldn't write myself. Like Daniel, there was one program I had to do 15 times 1 minute hill sprints or something like this. I never would write it in. You know, you train by yourself and you're like, 7 will do today. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. I trained really hard in those 7 runs. I put really, really hard. I don't need 15.
7 will do today.
Yeah.
So after 1 or 2 months, I thought, nah, I need structure, and I enjoyed it. There was something missing in running. I don't know what it was, but I was thing. I love being by my own. To be honest, I love going out by myself, or I can lie on the couch all day by myself, and I'm happy. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? So I'm really got kind of introverted more the last years, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really like it, but there was something missing. So I said, if I can do a half marathon, maybe a marathon is possible. So I went back to Dan, and from then on, I just sticked with him ever since. You know, I did a marathon. 8 weeks later, I did a 100-kilometer run straight away, and
Wait a minute, wait a minute. You did a half marathon.
I also did a half marathon in March 2022. I did a marathon in September, the Sydney Marathon in September. And 8 weeks later, after that, I did a 100-kilometer run on my own.
Wow, that's a big jump.
It was a very big jump. So the furthest I was ever running was a marathon. And then 8 weeks later, I kept training and straight went into the 100-kilometer run on my own. So that was all self-supported pretty much. I chose the route around Sydney and run 100 Ks. And after that, I thought, I like that. I enjoy it, you know. So,
Okay. You
kind
enjoy it.
of hate and enjoy, you know what I mean? It's
Okay,
like
okay.
the moment is always like, that's all bullshit. I can't take it anymore. But once you're done, you know, you go home. Oh, it's actually not too bad. I can do it, you know. I know I can do it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then April last year, I did for organ donation as well. It was the first time I got in contact with them. I did every day 30 kilometers for 30 days. And then I thought, yeah, let's step it up. I want to do something bigger, you know. Then the Darwin to Sydney came into my mind, doing something crazy. Like I always wanted to do something crazy, to be honest, you know. Why not? And at that time around, there was Ned Brockman just running as well, I think, around across Australia.
Mhm.
I thought, oh yeah, why not? You know, and then I got more interested in running. You see all those Instagram posts, which is good and bad, because you see, you know, like people always think, oh, I've done a marathon. They're so proud. You're so proud of yourself, and then you see, damn it, this guy just ran 200 kilometers.
Yeah, yeah.
You should get inspired by that, but I think it's also very dangerous for some people because it makes you feel small. But training for a marathon is very hard. You know, I think that what people don't understand, it's just a marathon. It's hard training. You know what I mean? And you should be proud of that. I think that you're doing a marathon. You know,
Yeah.
many people run. You know, and that's what people I think don't understand that. Yeah, that a marathon is also something. It's not about 200-300 kilometer one day or some crazy stuff,
Yeah.
it's a big commitment, to train for it. And I mean, let's be honest, I think everyone could be able to run a marathon, but it's the preparation, how well you will do it and how you will get out of it. And it's a big commitment for sure.
Yeah, I think with the Instagram stuff, now there's almost everyone is running a lot more.
Yeah.
Or maybe we think that way because the algorithm just shows you,
exactly, because
the runners.
Now.
Yeah, so I had a client, right? And he said, I made a bet with him because he said he wanted to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks. Right? And I said, that's not easy. That's not easy at all. If you want to do this, let's set some parameters. The first one being, if you get it, good for you. You get 10 kilos off. But if you don't get it, you have to go run a half marathon.
Okay.
That was the punishment. Yeah. And he looked at me with disdain and he goes, bro, I see people running half marathons all the time on Instagram. How hard could it be? I can do it. And I looked at him and because I know how fit he is, I thought, oh my God, you have no idea what you just said.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you just said. That's the thing with Instagram or whatever social media platform you use. You only see the end. Oh my God, this guy people not many of them take the time to look into all the training.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a lot of training, like I said. And that's the thing, like now that, because you and we run, so I go to search list on Instagram, everything is just bloody running, like,
yeah.
See you see like crazy times for like 100 kilometers and stuff. It's like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
But yeah, not many people show the true side about it, what it takes to lead up to it. And like same with marathon PPs and stuff. Like you look at professional athletes, you just see suddenly you hear about Eliud Kipchoge. Suddenly is this guy just broke a good first time kind of thing. You're new to this thing. He broke the world record, but man, this guy's been training since bloody 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge,
Yeah, and for people who don't run, they think, oh, he broke the marathon in 2 hours, under 2 hours. Oh, that doesn't sound, that fast. It took 2 hours. Yeah. And only the people who know running, you have no idea what you just said. You have no idea how hard it is to even hold a sub 3-hour marathon.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Even just at that pace, hold 1 kilometer is just insane.
Insane. Yeah, I tried that once. I tried before I knew about Kipchoge, but I had a 2K sprint. And so I was like, okay, let's have a good dig. And I think I did my first K in 250.
Okay.
But I was ready to quit. I was done. I didn't want to do second K. I think I hit 330. But I was on the ground for at least 30 minutes afterwards. I couldn't breathe. It was that strong.
It's absolutely insane. Like I tried it as well at speed sessions and stuff, and it's just, damn it, man. I'm glad, like there's 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off intervals, and you give everything, and you're looking for 30 more seconds. I can't wait for that break.
Yeah, exactly. You check your watch 6 times when you're doing your 2-minute interval.
Still 20 to go,
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I think it's easier to do if there's a cause or there's a reason you're running that much, which for you, for this time around, was organ donation. So could you elaborate a little bit more on like why organ donation and like what does it mean to you?
Yeah, organ donation. So 10 years ago, I got a call from my parents that my mom has liver failure. And for me, I didn't think much about it. I didn't think about that she's dying, which she literally was. And and I thought also that's really strange for me because I never saw my mom drunk in her life, like never. Like compared to my dad is a typical German. He comes home, he has a couple of beers, happy days,
Yeah.
But my mom is like, I see her maybe on a birthday or maybe New Year's Eve having one bubble, and that would be it. Like I said, never saw my mom drunk, so it was really strange for me. How's my mom liver sick? Like she doesn't smoke, she doesn't drink, like she doesn't exercise, but she's in okay shape, and always walking a lot. So that didn't make sense for me until I asked my parents, so what is the deal with that? And they said, well, either we find a liver or she will die. Straightforward. That's how it will be. So yeah, that took a while to get into me. That was shocking the first time. It's like, Jesus, my parents died, and she was 46 back then, you know.
Wow, so young.
40, it was very young, you know. When you're 18, you think this is dinosaur ages, you know.
Yeah.
But now that I'm 38 this year myself, that's not young. I have friends that age now, you know, and it's just insane, to be honest. And anyways, she went through a lot, so bad that her, because the liver didn't work anymore, her body was a lot of toxin inside her and everything. So the last week or 2 weeks, I think 1 or 2 weeks, she doesn't even remember anymore. She didn't even remember she had a liver transplant. That's how bad
Wow.
her body was. So she went from 67 kilos to 42 kilos or something like that. So she lost a lot of weight as well along the way. And when she had her liver transplant, like I said, she didn't even remember she had a surgery or anything. My dad tried to give her tablets, and my mom actually thought he's trying to kill her. Just give her tablets so it's over. And the cuffed her onto the bed and all this kind of things. She's trying to pull out all the needles and stuff. So yeah, her body was so destroyed. And yeah, but she's also, that was 10 years ago, and it's all good. She's been here ever since. They came to Australia 3 times. And I mean, there's certain things are never going to be the same, you know, but it's a small price for what she's been through, and she's alive, and it's been 10 years, and it's all good, you know. So she's still regular checks with a specialist, I think every 3 months. Used to be at the beginning weekly checks, then fortnight, monthly checks, and now I think it's every 3 months she has to do a check. And yeah, she's fine. She's working and everything. So yeah, so I thought, when I want to do something crazy like that, a run, I wanted to give back as well. I mean, Australia for me is home now for 16 years. It's as an immigrant, it was not always easy. You know what I mean? That's what it is. I mean, you come here, you think the first few years when you're a backpacker, you think it's always going to be like that. You just party, travel, happy days. You know, you work
Mm-hmm.
a little bit here and there. But once you settle down in a city, and you find your routine, it's like a good friend of mine said to me always, doesn't matter where you move, you always have to work. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's true. So your routine gets you. But all in one, Australia was always a great country for me. Like I always had, was a lot of ups and downs, but all up, a lot of positivity here. I still love it. People always ask me, do you want to move back to Germany? And I said, I never know. Who knows? Maybe one day, but at the moment, still not. Like I call it home, Australia. It's been a great country to me. So I thought, let's give back. You know what I mean? Why not? When I run something like this, why not make something, help other people with it? You know, people like my mom with liver failure or whatever organ problem it might be, and raise some awareness about this topic as well.
Well, you definitely raised awareness for me, but I mean, I think it's so cool that you went from the crazy feat of running from Brisbane to Sydney. That's what caught my attention. Like, oh, that's pretty crazy. But then you were so quick to say, and I'm doing this for organ donation. And so with your crazy thing, you got those eyeballs, and those eyeballs then went, oh, wait a minute, there's this thing for organ donation. And now I'm aware of it. And it's, whenever I think of you, I think of, oh yeah, Sascha runs, but also organ donation.
You know, it's like my mom. Like at the end, it was a genetic problem which can happen to any one of us. So this could have been good for another 10 years. Could have happened 10 years before that when she had it. So you just don't know when it happened. And that's the thing. And like I said, she never drank. So for me, like 10 years ago, I was 20, 28, 20, 27, I think around 27. For me, the first thing that comes into my mind was, she's not an alcoholic. Like only alcoholic get that, you know what I mean? Like people have problems with alcohol, and so that was really shocking, and that it can happen to anyone, to be honest, and how quickly life can change, you know. Like that was so definitely a big punch in the face, to be honest, how quickly life can be over with 46. Like that's not an age, you know. Like that's massive, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think when life can change, either it's forced upon you or you make that choice for yourself. And I think as a coach and trainer yourself, you would have come across so many people who have been forced to change their lifestyle, like those guys who are never looking after themselves, and eventually the doctor just says to them one day, "Hey man, you're gonna die in 10 years if you don't change this." And then
Like,
then they see Sascha and they're like, "Okay, Sascha, I need help." There's one people, and then there's the other people you who just have the initiative to say, "I don't want this." Kind of like what you did with Dan. I don't want this for myself anymore. I need to
exactly.
change. And then you went to see Dan.
And that's the thing with everything. I think like you always try to help people, but it's you have to want it, you know. I mean, you have to want to change, you know. And I know this from experience myself. I tried so many different things to get better, and did some online programs, did some internships and here and there, but I never stick to something for a long time. And taekwondo was really hard for me, because it's always in the evening. That's when I was teaching. So like as a
Mm,
personal trainer, you know, when do you teach? When other people train, you know.
yeah, yeah.
That was really hard for me. And so running, I found, as a personal trainer, you always have time during the day somehow, you know what I mean? So that's what I found. Let's give this a go. And signing up to a gym was always like, I was never a big weight guy. I'm doing my strength work now. So now even more since the Brisbane to Sydney run, because I have to work on things. So
Yeah.
I have to. Dan told me he would prefer if I sign up to a gym. Like I have a little home gym. I got some barbells and dumbbells, but he wants me to sign up into a gym, get more variety and get even stronger. And trust me, that's really, even for me, like some people don't understand it because they think, you are fit, you should be fine. But that gives me almost anxiety. I don't like gyms. I don't like this environment, you know. I hate it. Like I really hate it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Dad said to me, would you mind signing up to a gym? I was
Would you mind?
like seriously, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you can't, we can work at home, but it would be better for you, you know. And I was like, oh damn it, I hate gyms. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel lost in there. Like, okay, yes, the machines and everything, I'm familiar a little bit here and there, but I just don't. Man, I said, just tell me to run 100 kilometers. I rather would prefer that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think I want that run, like I want it badly, you know. And I think I have to do some work now for it, and there's no way around it, you know. Like if I really want it, you have to do the work. And like I said before, what running gave to me and got me out of this hole where I used to be, and that was amazing. For example, when I didn't finish the run from Brisbane to Sydney, the third day was my last run. Woke up on a Thursday and I said, yeah, this is it. Old Sascha a few years ago would have gone and just, let's go to the pub, let's get drunk, and that's it. That would have been my old Sascha, you know. I had a couple of drinks, but I didn't get drunk. I had one day where I was drinking, but not crazy, you know. And I was like, fuck, I don't even like this. I woke up the next day and I had a fucking headache again. I said, I don't,
Yeah.
that was just crap, you know,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah.
And leading up to that, I really barely drunk. You know, I don't drink much anymore these days, which I enjoy. It's cheaper too. You know,
Mm, mm.
out for dinners is cheaper too. And just with training, it didn't work with me anymore. I always say I'm not 20 anymore. I can't drink and train. It just doesn't work anymore. Like my whole week is just my sleep and everything. It just messes up my whole week. And I found alcohol really a depressive drug, to be honest. Like I feel always really slugged, like not feeling like doing anything. And so yeah, and now I don't really miss it. I never say I don't drink at all anymore. Sometimes it's still nice here and there for a special occasion, but I don't, even when I drink sometimes these days, it's not that I just binge drink for the sake of getting drunk anymore. Which is, yeah, which is great, to be honest. So
Yeah.
those positivities I saw what running gave me, even it was hard and disappointing, and I got the shits that I stopped and I didn't finish the run. This all these memories what running gave me is like, okay, let's get back into routine. I had a meeting straight away with Daniel on Tuesday. Like on Tuesday, I had a meeting with him, and I know even if I'm not motivated or I don't feel really like running at the moment. Even I saw some runners today and I was like, oh, it would be nice, put on the shoes, it's a nice day out there. I know with routine it will come again, you know, just find a routine again and start again.
Yeah. When you got there, right? I want to kind of pick your brain on the race now. Well, not race, but the run. When you got there, were you already expecting that something was going to happen, or was it clear in your mind that you were fit and ready for this run?
Now, like I said to Daniel, and I still see it, I don't know, I always heard about this from professional athletes. I saw myself running across the bloody bridge towards the Opera House. I still see it. I don't know, like for me it was like, yes, I'm gonna go. I want to go there. And I was okay when I arrived there. It hit me the first time when I went to my starting point in South Bank. There was like, no, this is now it's serious. Now I'm here, and you get nervous and stuff like that, of course, you know. And then when I started the run, I was very nervous. So I went with my girlfriend to the starting point, and I announced that if anyone wants to run with me, come and see me. It was only my girlfriend and I there, so it was just us two, which was okay. I kind of expected it already, so that was fine. So I started running, and it was okay at the beginning, but then I don't know. After a while, my head, I have to say as well, just clicked, and I don't know what was wrong, to be honest, with my head. And it took me ages to get those 90 kilometers, like really long time. Like I have to say, I was self-supported the first day, so my mate was somewhere else, so I carried everything with me on the first day. The vest, there wasn't additionally 5-6 kilos or 7 kilos I carried.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Usual.
That's heavy. Yeah.
So I carried everything with me. Yes, during the day it got a little bit lighter because I ate everything.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of a struggle as well, I guess. I think there's so many things that went wrong. I could have done a little bit better, you know, but I don't know why the first challenge I've done so far where my mind snapped from the first day. I don't know why. I didn't have this with any challenge that my mind snapped. The second day was an absolutely nightmare, to be honest. It was absolutely nightmare. I run only, I think, 20 Ks in the morning. And that's when I actually wanted to call it. I said, this is it. Like, I'm done. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't run. My mind didn't make it. Girlfriend called me. She talked me into it. She said, just have a rest, go again later or go again tomorrow. So I said, no, I'm done. Like, I'm absolutely done. And so somehow she convinced me to have a rest. So I went to McDonald's, had lunch,
Nice.
got some calories in, you know. Was lying down in the hotel a little bit. I think I watched some Netflix. And in the evening as well, late afternoon, I think around 3 o'clock, my mate said as well, you're running again today. And I said, no. He said, no, you do. But I said, okay, maybe I run again. So I put my shoes on, went out again, and it was a beautiful run. My head was good. I was glad the sun came out finally. Like 3 days, it was literally just the 3 days I was running, it was just pouring like absolutely crazy. It was just raining like crazy. And that afternoon on my second day, it didn't rain. There was sun coming out. And it's like, man, it's actually not too bad. My head is working. It was beautiful. Started raining late in the afternoon again. So I did another 2 hours or another 20 Ks, I think I did in the afternoon. So I only had 40 Ks that day. And well, I was in good spirit. I was in really good spirit. Wednesday, I woke up and I said, yeah, I got this. I had a really good start. I did, I think, a marathon in 4 hours 45 or something, just nice and cruisy. Like I was really happy with the run. And then my knee popped up, and I said, "This can't be. Not no. Like everything that went wrong. Like I said, I can't believe this. Like I had issues with my ITB before, and I knew the run is not going to be easy, and I knew probably there was wrong thinking on my side as well. I thought day 3, 4, or 5 gonna be horrible. I knew that already without even I haven't even been there. There was wrong mentality as well, that I thought this is gonna be a bad day already. And I thought it can't be true. So many things went wrong already from the first day. And then the knee popped up. So I had ITB, and underneath my my kneecap as well, as like runner's knee, flared up again. So my whole knee, it felt like someone with a sledgehammer hammering again. That I was just limping on the bloody M1. I was limping. There are trucks going past here, you know. And I said, I can't believe this. Like I took some painkillers, walked a little bit, and got okay. So I could run a little bit again. And it started again and again and again. And that's when my mind again like said, like, I'm done. Like I can't believe this. Like that was absolutely, I was shredded. Like I just wanted to go home at that stage. Like it was really bad. It was really, really bad. And so I did 70 Ks that day, which took a while. And I went home, went to the hotel, had dinner, woke up the next day all night. I had painkillers as well. I couldn't sleep. My knee just, I couldn't even bend it. That's how bad it was. And yeah, that was shit, to be honest. I felt like shit. I said, I couldn't believe this after all the preparation, you know, and after all the money as well I spent, you know, like, and I thought, I could walk ish. Should I walk now 12 hours a day, try to get 50K, 60Ks walking, you know? But for me in my head as well, that defeated the purpose. I wanted to run it, you know. I didn't want to walk it. I could have stayed in Sydney and walk every day 50Ks, you know. That's what I didn't want to do. It. I wanted to bloody run that thing, you know. So from that moment, I said, like, everything from now on is double the time, double the money, and everything just went downhill. So on Thursday morning, when I woke up, I tried to walk, and I said, that's when I called it. I texted Dan and said, I'm done. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just done, you know. And I called it, yeah.
Yeah. When you say your mind just broke on day one and something was happening in your head, could you run me through what was the dialogue like?
What was the dialogue like? It was like, everything, this is shit, I'm fucked, things like that. Like I don't know why, because I never had this in running, but I didn't even believe in myself anymore at that stage. Like I said, I can't do it. Like this a lot of negativity came up, and I don't know why. I never had this in running before. A lot of negativity that I can't do this, and I didn't this no self-belief anymore. I don't know where this suddenly came from, to be honest. And maybe because I know in situations like this, I put myself under pressure a lot. Maybe that's why I had like a schedule. I wanted to do so many Ks and that hours and this and that, you know, like in a lot of runners texted me, just let go, just be now, let go, let go, let go, you know. And I just couldn't let go, that feeling, that the emotions, like I couldn't let go, like just be in the moment and be present. I talked with them before the run about it, that I trying as much as I wanted to be that fastest known time, that just be present and enjoy. There were some beautiful sceneries. I didn't give a damn crap about it. I was so depressed at that moment. And there was some, now I look at some videos and I was like, what the hell did I do? You know, like it was just a nightmare, to be honest. And there's some beautiful, once you hit the Gold Coast and you go down towards Byron Bay, it was just beautiful. Like, you know, honestly, it was just amazing. And yeah, but I didn't, honestly, I think I just didn't believe in me anymore. And then when that knee came up as well, it was just like, I'm absolutely done. I was exhausted, absolutely mentally exhausted, to be honest. The body was fine. Like the knee was the problem, but even running, I still managed to get 200 kilometers in those 3 days. I didn't have any muscle leg or anything. Like I didn't feel like I'm exhausted or anything. Like I had good recovery. Most of the times my food nutrition was, and the hydration was okay. I mean, I know I could have been better, but it was okay. I was not like that I was hungry at some stages or anything, or felt lack of energy. And yeah, that was upsetting, to be honest. And it was very depressive. Like I went out this morning for the first time in 5 days out of the house, you know.
Okay.
And I went out on Monday, and then today again. Yeah, today again. I was just on the couch watching Netflix and listen to positivity, watching some inspiring movies on Netflix, like true story kind of stuff. And Yeah, I mean, that's even you say it, I always say that's life. Like, and I talk to myself a lot. You even started this, and I got so many messages, which is so true. Like, most people will never get there where I've been, they won't even go to the start line, and everything after this is a learning curve. So I'm trying to say this to myself. I did a lot of speaking literally to myself. You know what I mean? And it helps. It's hard, but it helps. And I mean, there are worse things in life, you know what I mean? So I get over it and have to move on, to be honest. As hard as it is, but I know with routine it will get there again. I know that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I think for people like yourself, and I told this to myself as well. If you don't acknowledge that as an objective viewer, you already have gone a long way, it's so hard to keep going.
It is.
It's so hard to just look at yourself, because we only ever look at, most of us only ever look at what we could do better or what we failed at. We don't really look at everything that we've done. And it's so hard. We need our good people around to remind us, hey man, you come a long way already. This didn't happen for you this time, but it doesn't mean it can't happen for you next time.
Exactly. And it's hard to see, like I didn't see, like I was running still 200 kilometers in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Knowledge that this is a lot. Some people run this maybe if they're a little bit running in a month, maybe, not even maybe. Some people will
Nah,
run
less than that. I'm not definitely, like most people would run 200 Ks in maybe 3 months. Most people don't average 40 Ks a week.
Not okay. So here we go, so not even close to what I've done. So I tried to see that, and that I still felt okay after those 200 kilometers, except the head and he didn't work out anymore. So like that's yeah, you have to appreciate it. And like some of my friends, they said, Jesus Christ, 200, I think I never run this in a lifetime.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to see, of course.
Yeah. But how do you, sorry to interrupt, how do you balance though? Because as somebody who's done training for such a long time, you need that part of you that is critical to improve. You need that. But then there's other times where you also need the opposite, which is to acknowledge, to give yourself rest, to give yourself the praise that you have come a long way. How do you balance the part of you that's always pushing you for more and you can be better, versus the part that says you've already done very well, you can take a chill pill for a day or two?
That's hard. It's literally, I think, Dan at the moment, to be honest. Like he said, we have 2 weeks off and then we go slowly back into training. He still, so I'm on the bike. He said to me, do 2 hours of bike this week. That's all. Do some stretching, do a little bit of a strength session, very simple, nothing crazy. And to be honest, at the moment, because I was not that motivated, or still not, I enjoyed the time just doing nothing, to be honest. Honest, I really do. Like I watch, like I said, it helps really to watch YouTube videos about people who are at like top levels and failed. You know what I mean? It's a big inspiration at the moment for me. Or listen to that. Like I said, a lot of positivity. That really helps as well. That people been there. It is hard, but you move on. You know what I mean? So you have to move on. But yeah, when I trained the other day on the bike, it felt good to do something as well, and to saw some runners, and I was like, God damn it! Honestly, today, once I saw that runner today on the way home, I actually said, man, I wish I could put my running shoes on and just go for a little run. It would be so nice just to shake it out.
Yeah.
Just to shake it out. I would love to do that. Yeah, but I like I said, I've been the ITB, to be honest. I've been mucking around with for years. It happened last year, the April challenge as well. So everything went well up to the last week. I think the last 3-4 days, it got really painful. And the last day didn't work at all anymore. So I walked the last day pretty much. And that's what I said to Dan. Maybe I was not honest about it with him as well as a coach, you know what I mean? Because that's something I never really addressed, because ITB usually, from the past experience, you give it some rest, you can go again. It's okay. until you push too much, then it just flares up again, you know. And that what happens. So that's what I have to do now, I guess. I really have to address this problem now with both of the knee problems I have, the underneath my patella and the ITB, the runner's knee and the ITB. So I address it now, do the small work, and go from there, that things like this not happen anymore, you know, like do the small things, you know, like I say always, it's about consistency. Where do we start with consistency? Like I'm so happy with what I've done, you know what I mean? And we all start somewhere. Like I've been more consistent than I used to be years ago with training, you know, and feel better. So that's a big improvement, you know. But now I think it's about more little things in the detail to get stronger in certain area. There's a lot of imbalance and weaknesses, like we got tested. So yeah, go from there now and work on the small things, because in my head I know I can run. It's not about running anymore. It's about other things now. So many small things I should work on, and injury prevention and stuff.
Yeah. We'll get into the next stage in a moment, but I want to also ask you about that moment when you decided to just call it. That moment you're on day 3 or day 4, you're done. You know you're done. What was the feeling like for you when you had to admit to yourself, I can't do anymore? Like, did you feel shame? Did you feel guilty? What was it like?
Everything, like the second day when I did only 20 kilometers in the morning, pressing, I don't know, like I was crying, pressing that stop button on the watch, and then press save, you know, you the
Yeah.
save. I was standing there for a while. I didn't want to press to save mode. Like that was like for me already failure. I was so disappointed in myself and thinking about other people, and I let down. That was horrible. It was a horrible feeling. And like I said, I went in the evening again, which was great. But the last day, when again the same thing, pressing that stop button and thought this is it, that was horrible. I felt really disappointed, and I felt like a failure, to be honest. Like I thought I failed. Like I said it even worse. I said, bloody loser. I said to myself, what a loser. I can't believe this, you know, like you're giving up. That was the words I literally said. Yeah, it was not nice. And I went to my van that night. I slept in the van that night, and I cried like a little baby. You know, didn't want to talk to anyone. I felt like a loser, to be honest. It was horrible. Even now, man, it gets me emotional, to be honest.
Yeah. But I think we all have that. If you ever push yourself to a certain extent where you're breaking the limits of everything you know that's possible for yourself, I think we all have that. We all have that moment where you really just succumb to it. And it's like, for what I'm seeing for you, Sash, is you got, maybe your Brizzy to Sydney run wasn't this one. Maybe it's actually the next one, or even the one after, who knows? But your run was actually a free time run. Your run that you planned is not actually the one run. And so this time you need that experience. So the next time and at that time after, you already know, like it's that maturity that comes with it.
Now that's what I said to myself as well after watching so much stuff. I said maybe it was not meant to be this time. Maybe next one, and maybe even next one, I will appreciate everything even more, you know, because what I've been through now. So I hope this will be even a greater run and more beautiful experience. And I think, like everything, like once you fail and whatever you've done in life, whatever failure is, I think for me, I like this saying, as long as you keep going, you haven't failed. You know what I mean? So the worst thing would be for me now, and I would have done this 10 years ago, probably. I would have stopped. I said, no, that's it. I'm done with running. You know, I don't want to do it anymore. You know.
Yeah.
Then I would have said, fuck it. Like I'm done, you know. And I think this is failure. You know, I think that's really failure if you don't want to do it. Except maybe really from all your heart, you said this is it. You don't have the passion anymore. Like some professional athletes that say I'm done with it, that your heart is not there anymore. That's fair enough. There's a whole different story, you know. But my heart is still there, and I still want to do that.
That's great, man. That's
so
great.
That's why I want to keep going. Yeah, that's why I want to keep going.
Yeah. When I had my podcast with Dan, he talked about how he actually doesn't really like running.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's just really good at it, but he doesn't really like running. And you just mentioned as long as you have your heart there and your passion for it.
Mm.
Do you ever go through times where you don't really want to run? You don't feel it in your heart to run, but you go to train anyway.
Oh, 100%. Many
Yeah.
times. Many times. Yeah. Definitely there's some mornings when I had long runs, like 6, 8 hours. You wake up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in
Yeah.
the skylight and you hear the rain. It's like, oh, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, damn it, man. It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just do it. Like I said, for me, the most motivating thing is I don't want to go back to who I was, and that what running gave me. That's for me. There's some days 100% I hate it, like running around I live in Glebe in Sydney, so there's a good 8 kilometer loop, like bloody 10 loops, you just bloody run and run, like running like
Yeah.
a hamster in a circle,
Yeah.
and your girlfriend is still in bed on a rainy day. It's nice and warm. You're like, oh damn it.
Yeah.
But then the running is really funny. You can feel like, for me, you start running, you hate it. The next hour is like, oh, this is bloody awesome. I love life. Suddenly you fucking hate everything again.
Yeah. 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 All in the one run.
All in one run. Like, it's an emotional curve. Like, it's really like it's really, you think, everything goes well, and I try to remind me of these days always, when I run happy, is that, and the first 10 kilometers, that was easy, 45 minutes. I just have to do this 8 more times.
Yeah.
And I always, these days, I say, Sascha, you've been only not even 1 hour in. Let's just chill down, And then said something to me before I started my big run, which I tried, which I tried to think about it. But once your mind doesn't work, nothing gets in anymore. You just block everything somehow. But he said to me one important thing, which is I really enjoyed: no feeling lasts forever. And that's really true. And especially in running, like I just said, you may be on the high runner's high where you think you're on top of the world. The next half an hour, you maybe just want to stop and don't want to do anything anymore. And that's really true. It's really hard to see when you're really down and when everything comes together, to keep this positivity in your head. But I love that when he said it to me, like, no feeling stays forever. And it's really true, I think. And I think that's life as well. Nothing stays forever, like, really, really is true.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to long distance, like what you have, an 8 hour run. Forget about running. I sit here for 8 hours and I can go through ups and downs too. I could sit here for the first hour, watch a movie. Oh, this life's pretty good. And then by hour 4, you're on your second movie and you think, I'm wasting my life. Like the first hour, you're like, yeah, cool. Next hour, yeah, cool. Third hour, what the hell am I doing? I'm young. I'm a man. I should be doing some shit with my life. Why am I just here watching a movie?
100%. It's so easy these days, right? Like I said, it's just lie a little bit down, watch a little bit Instagram. Then you look at your watch. I just wasted 3 hours of my life. Just keep scrolling and scrolling, and you wasted your life. You could have done something again.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's really important for anyone to know as well, is for somebody like yourself who has run for so long, who not only runs long on one day, but has run a huge training cycle for months, and where your runs every week you're doing an 8 hour or 9 hour run, is that everyone, even at the highest level, has many, many days, and I argue that more days that you don't want to do it.
100%. 100%. But it's like, it's even those days I don't want to do it. The funny thing is, like, going back to Dan, like, no feeling stays forever. Most of the time, you run like 5 or 10 minutes, and you think, oh, it's actually not too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The mood is changing. I guess everything in your body, everything goes crazy. So yeah, you get into the stage and you think, it's actually not that bad. It works. And most of the time after the run, you think, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
it's always after every session you do, it's like, I'm glad I did it, to be honest. You know, it was actually not as bad as I thought, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to hold on to this feeling, but still, next day you train again. It's like, oh, damn it, I have to do it again.
Yeah. Or you might have a few days where you feel pretty good for 2-3 days. Oh, I think I finally unlocked it. I think I feel, but then by the fourth day, nah, it's back.
Oh yeah,
You don't want to do it.
100%. I had like some weeks where I felt the whole week after week on a high. It's like, fuck, I'm smashing one session up. And then 2-3 weeks later into a new program, it's just like, Jesus, I don't feel like doing anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm eating the same, I'm sleeping the same. Why do you feel suddenly different? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we think that we are such stable creatures, but we're really not. And
No.
as a coach yourself, you would have so many clients who just say stuff like, I'm just not motivated anymore. I just don't really want to do it anymore.
100%.
But with the experience of knowing you can still do it when you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't know that in a week's time you're still going to feel the same way. So it's very unreliable.
100%. And like I said, for me, the biggest motivation is I don't want to go back where I used to be. So mentally, I was more depressed and anxious and stuff. So that's a beautiful feeling. Why why you're doing it? You know what I mean? What helps you to keep going? You know, so that's a beautiful feeling for sure.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple of times where you really don't want to go back to who you were before you started the running journey. So if you don't mind me asking, what were you like before you started all this? That person that you don't want to be?
So like I was drinking like most people you hear more and more often. I was drinking way too much, like shitloads. Like, you know, again,
Like German level or Aussie level? Because I know it's different.
like it was so bad at some stages. I didn't even bother to pour the wine into the glass, to be honest. I just drank straight
Wow.
off, you know, like,
Yeah.
and like, was I an alcoholic? I don't know, to be honest. Like when I hear stories what alcoholics actually drink, I think I wasn't, to be honest. Where do you start? Where do you stop, to be honest?
Yeah,
But
it's like hey, I don't drink 2 bottles. I only drink 1. I'm not an alcoholic.
Something like that, you know what I mean? Something like that. I don't drink whiskey bottles yet each day. I only drink wine bottles every day.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like I'm not a drug addict. I don't smoke coke every day. I only snort coke once a day. Well, once every 2 days.
Exactly, yeah, something like that. But yeah, I had really bad drinking habits, to be honest. And I think during COVID, I think it was probably the worst ish, I would say, to be honest. You know, I was at home, and even when I was in a good mood, oh, you watch a movie, there's nothing else to do, you know. You just pour yourself a glass of wine and drink, and so I was drinking a lot, you know, and it's reflected in a lot of bad things in my life. Like there was trying to date, it was like, I had enough. Like I said, drinking is a very depressive drug. I found very depressive. You don't feel like doing anything. They're just very slack. You don't want to do anything. Always hangover every day and stuff. So relationships I tried to do didn't work out, you know, like, and yeah, that was just a nightmare, honestly. But like I said, you always hear things how people change. I tried so many things, nothing worked. Like absolutely. Then you have phases, your mood suddenly, okay, today I stop, and you take all the alcohol and just literally flush it down the sink, you know, so that's it, I'm stopping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that goes good for a couple of days until something happens and you go, bottle shop is just next to where I live, and you get another bottle and keep drinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really bad. And honestly, I didn't like myself anymore at all. Like I didn't like, there was this stage when I finally made a step and contact Danielle, and yeah, that I didn't want anymore. Like honestly, I didn't want to be the person anymore. That was not me. I was always very active when I was young. I was always training since I'm 5 years old. Yeah, there were phases when I came as a backpacker for the first 2 or 3 years. I barely trained, but I didn't get any weight. So people always say, "Oh, no, you're gonna get fat." I didn't get fat, you know.
Yeah.
I always had very active jobs. I worked on farms. I worked in coffee shops. So I was always very active still, and I wanted to be that person again. I just wanted to be fit again, to be honest. Like I wanted to do something, and it got me upset, and yeah, I had enough, and I wanted to change. And that's when it happened with Daniel, and I had some other programs, like I said, online programs before that. I tried to do
For quitting, for running, or for
before running. Yeah,
cutting.
I did a
Okay.
while Ido Portal.
Yeah.
So I had some. I went to some workshops with him, did some online training with him as well, which was good, which was good to learn those things, and which I stuck to it for a little bit, but after a while was as well, there was absolutely no motivation anymore. I had enough of, I did enough muscle ups and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. The lizard walking and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I had enough, honestly. Like I didn't want to do it either anymore. And that was really like I said, my heart was not there anymore. Well, I met some good coaches, like incredible people I looked up to, but I didn't want to do it, So yeah, I mean, so I stopped as well. But somehow running really got me into it. It's the longest I've say since November 2021. It's been almost 3 years, and there was another thing with the big run, why I'm trying not to be hard to me. I'm such a young runner in the way of how many years I've been. It's been only 2.5 years. That's nothing compared to some people I admire who won certain races. They've been running for decades. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's like, come on, Sascha. Like it's been only 2.5 years. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the logic is there, right? The logic is there, but sometimes we don't feel it in our hearts.
Yeah.
I struggle the same thing with fighting sometimes. I mean, I don't compete right now, but when I was looking to compete, my first competition I had when I was only training for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, like, I should be better. And I should know these things. And I'm looking at my performance and I'm thinking I didn't do that well. But then my coach at the time would remind me, hey, dude, you've only done this for 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're very good for 6 months. So just keep going, keep learning. And a lot of things take time. Even with the best training program, it just takes time.
Yeah, it does. It does take time, 100%. And that's, I think, like we say, like people always see the result, but the time behind it, it's for some people decades. I watched a really good, really, really good movie on Netflix the other day about a woman who was swimming from Cuba to Florida.
Wow.
Took her 35 years, 5 attempts. 30.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
And
that for you, that must be like, maybe that's me, but it's just,
yeah,
this is my first out of how many attempts?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like she did it in her end 20s, beginning 30s, and she started again when she was 60. When she
Wow.
was 60, she started again. So, there was I've watched that movie for the third time now. It's an incredible story, like it's just unbelievable. And yeah, that's good to see, especially what I've been through now. And if you call it failure or not, it's not a failure anymore. I'm getting positiver now with the time going away from that run.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like a training session.
It's like a training session, yeah.
Yeah. For the actual one you complete later.
Exactly, yeah. So now it was a great movie, honestly, very great.
What's the
So
name of it?
Naya, let me see. I can show it to you so everyone can see it as well. Like I would watch it honestly, 100%. I very highly recommend it. It's a great movie. Let me see 1 second. I'll show it to you so you can see it. Here we go. Here we go. Can you see it?
Naiad. Okay, got it. I might watch this
Yeah,
on the weekend.
So she started again when she was 60, and she finally made it when she was, I think, 63 or 64. So it took her still another 4 years after deciding doing it again.
Wow. Wow.
Great story. Great
Yeah,
story.
that's incredible. So running for you was almost like a few things. It gave you structure. It helped you stop drinking as much. And it gave you like a goal to work towards. Your story reminds me a little bit of, our mutual friend, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has similar struggle with alcohol in his earlier days, and he found that running was really helpful to give him that discipline, but also the feedback, like the data, where if he drank the day before, you couldn't run the next day. You couldn't run well the next day.
Like everything, like all my runs are always very heart rate monitors. So everything is with my heart rate. And it is so true. I drink the day before when I used to drink. You run the next day, my heart rate is just through the roof. Shit sleep, like nothing works. Like it's horrible, you know. And Luke the same. I talked to Luke a lot about it as well. And like I said to you at the beginning of the podcast, once you hit your mid-30s, end 30s, you know what we're talking about. You know, like
Yeah.
it's honestly like it's really hard, but I promise you there are more people out there, they have the same problem. 100%, you know, like it's like so many people who are just drinking way too much, who want to change but can't. And I believe that I was one of them. You know, it took me a long time to get myself out of this hole. And that's the thing, nobody can do it for you. It sounds so cliche and you always hear it, but it's true. You can go to even to a psychologist, but if you don't really want to, you just go because you got told to do it, nothing's going to change. You have to really, I think you really have to want it. You have to want to change, you know. And that's what happened to me. I wanted to change. Like I had enough of my life. Like honestly, not that I would have said I would have committed suicide or anything, but I didn't want to be that person anymore. Like I had enough of it. Like I just didn't want to live like this anymore. And running gave me structure again in my life. And even if I wanted to be always, especially after coming to Australia, this free spirit hippie, you know, like I love camping and all this stuff. For me, and I think for most people, it would be healthier, get structure in your life. I think that really helped, honestly, even and step by step. Like I started with running. I think a year later, or 1.5 years later, I finally started with adding strength training to it. I haven't done any strength training before that, like because I can't stand it. It's bloody heavy, you know. I lifting up. I
Yeah.
can't. It was always good. Like when I did the Ido Portal stuff, I was always very good with body weight, chin ups, muscle ups, no problems. That's okay. But actually see progression in strength, like getting more weight onto the bar and all the stuff, I've never really done since like a year now, 1.5 years now or something. Yeah, I think since a year now, a little bit more than a year, where I got structure into my strength as well. And I think that was good. I always can say I wish I would have done this earlier. No, but I think it was good. That's what you as a PT, like as a PT, I see this a lot. People concentrating too many things at the same time. Too many things at the same time. I get my nutrition, get my watch, get this, get that. It doesn't work. You will fall again, 100%. Like I'm glad I just concentrated on my running at the beginning. It worked well. I added some weight later on and find a new habit and a routine in that as well. And it worked, you know.
Yeah, most people go too hard too soon.
100%. I see it in the fitness a lot. You have this like highs where this week I'm gonna do everything. I'm going 6 times to the gym.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, like,
Yeah.
like I'm training 2 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
1 week later, back to zero.
Yeah. I think it's that it's the endless cycle in the fitness and health industry.
Yeah.
You know, it's endless. I've been in the industry for 10 years now. Sometimes I feel like I talk to the same person over and over again.
Yeah. 100%.
Even though it's a different body, but same person. I'm gonna do, like you say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I've bought the shoes already, I'm committed. I've got the shirt, I've got the straps, I've got everything, I'm committed. Like you say, I'm 1 week later, 2 weeks later, hey, I'm not gonna train as much anymore because I'm just not feeling motivated. Well, that's what happens when you tell them, hey, just start off with 2-3 times a week first, 45 minutes max.
Yeah,
don't buy new shoes yet, don't do anything, just wear what you have and just come to the gym.
100%.
But is that enough? Am I going to waste my time? I want to get my goal. Yeah, just do it for 6 weeks first. See if you can stick to that. If you can, we'll talk more.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, start slow, honestly, like with everything. Like my training at the beginning, I had a look at my old programs, and I think I only run 2 hours a week at the beginning, or 2 hours a week, you know, like it's nothing compared to what I've been running and leading up to that. So that was like, yeah, start small, you know what I mean? Like start small and try to build a habit, you know, and go from there. 100%.
Where's your running hours at now prior to taking a break?
It was, let me see, I can check. It was like 15, I think with weight, I had like some weeks there were like between 15 and 20 hours, included weight sessions.
Okay.
Some weeks,
Okay.
three weight sessions. I did 3 weight sessions leading up to that. So I would say, yeah, 15 to 20 hours total time with weight. Yeah. Half of what Dan is doing. He's having a full-time job.
Yeah, he has a full-time job for
I
training
think
and
it
then
was
a
like
full-time
40
job.
hours of training leading up to it. I think he had 2 full-time jobs. I think he did like 40 hours a week or something training.
Yeah. Do you ever think about all the time you're spending training as like a waste?
Nah, to be honest, nah. Just because it makes me feel better, to be honest. That's
Mm.
why better. Like my current girlfriend, we've been together 2.5 years. That's the longest girlfriend I had for a very, very long time. I was 5 years single, on and off, like dating here and there, nothing worked. And I met her literally the same time I started running. So
Wow.
yeah,
Is she a runner?
no, not at all. She wouldn't. She always says, "I wouldn't run if a lion would chase me."
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, we met December 2021. That's when I contact Daniel, so around the same time. So whenever that's been the longest relationship I had in a long time, and still going strong and good. So it really changed me as a person a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah. How do you think the running, I mean, it's kind of a abstract connection, but how do you think the running improved your dating life?
Because I think compared to where I was, I love myself again, to be honest. I love life again, you know what I mean? And you always hear those kind of things. You can't make someone happy if you don't not happy by yourself. I never understood it. I understand it now, to be honest.
Mm.
I do understand it now, and I think that that's true. Like you always try it, and I have a big problem with that. I'm a big pleaser, but I'm really bad receiving. I'm still sometimes I can't talk, and people telling me compliments or now with the run and blah 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 how great I did. I don't see that. You know what I mean? I'm like I love to help people, but for myself, I didn't help myself for many years,
Mm-hmm.
for many years. So I think it made me a better lover, to be honest.
Yeah. Because you
I
would have been nicer to be around as well.
Yeah, just nicer. And when I met her, there were some incidents. I was not nice around her. You know what I mean? You get this mood crazy thing. Like my girlfriend said the same. At the beginning, there were some parts where I thought, "Oh, I don't know about this guy." You know what I mean? But she said, like nowadays, like it's rarely that I have a bad mood, to be honest. It's really rare. There's still bad moods coming, and yeah, sometimes you feel sad and stuff like that, but I was like sometimes miserable, honestly. You don't want it to be around me, to be honest. I was miserable, to be honest. So I think
Because you were still drinking back then
I
when
was still drinking. Yeah, I was still drinking back then. And then yeah, so I think that running and the relationship, it may goes no hand in hand. It just made me a better person, because honestly, like sometimes I hated my life. Like I really did. Like, back then but like I said, this drinking stuff, how depressive is this? You just hate yourself for everything. You call yourself a loser and all this stuff, nothing works. And like now I do love myself again, like
mm.
enjoy life. You're like, it's beautiful, and spending time with her is also amazing. And you're more relaxed and more calm. Like I'm not getting those flippy moods suddenly where you're good and suddenly you just like miserable again. Like it's very, very, very rarely happens these days. You know what I mean? Like,
And even if you did, you now have this awareness that's not going to last, because all the running you do, you're half of the run you feel like shit,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then the other half you're happy again. So even any time in life you feel moody for some reason, it's not going to last.
Exactly. But there were times for months, weeks, I felt miserable. I was like horrible. Like first I was still working, which was like a good sign. But I also like, because I'm self-employed, for me it was always like I still have to go to work. And trust me, they were like, if I would have a full-time job, there would have been many times I would have called sick 100%, but no work, no money for me was always, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I had no choice, you know, I had to pay rent and everything. Like,
Yeah.
what can I do, you know? So I was glad I still went to work. I still had all my personal training or fitness stuff, group session is all outdoors. So I think that was very healthy as well. So I was not indoors all the time. I think that was really good, to be honest. That I was that I'm an outdoor personal trainer, fitness instructor. And but yeah, I went home and pop a bottle of wine or whatever and just drink, you know. And yeah, I'm glad that I'm not that person anymore, you know.
Mm.
And I really makes a big difference. Yeah, and like I said, I'm at drug wise, I think alcohol is one of the worst depressive drugs you can take, if especially if you don't feel good, because it gets you to that high, but it gets you even lower afterwards. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think that's the problem with alcohol is it's the only socially accepted drug that makes you worse.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Because I've talked to you, I've talked to Luke, I've talked to my clients before. I've never been a huge drinker ever, but I would just watch these guys. They come to uni or go to work the next day, and they're all just hating life.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my God, I feel like shit. Ah, da, da, da. And on the weekend, let's do it again. Let's have some fun. Like, do you have any? Aren't you a fun person? Why don't you drink? You're boring. But
exactly.
it's such a terrible drug.
It's like my some you still hear this, you know, like you still get weird looks when I Saturday night when a sun usually my long run's always on a Sunday, and to be a little bit social, like once in a while I say, okay, I'm coming out Saturday night for dinner,
Mm,
you know,
mm, mm.
because they still have friends, right? And then you're not drinking, and they give you this dirty look. It's like, yeah, I have to get up at bloody 4 o'clock, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm not drinking, you know.
yeah.
Have a good meal, and I'm glad. I think what helped as well. My girlfriend is not a big drinker either. She is not, so I think that helped as well. To be honest, you know. And after a while, especially at the beginning, you feel weird as well, like you getting going home. Do you want some wine? She no. Do you mind if I drink? And you feel weird drinking by yourself. Like when you're alone, it's a
Mm.
different story. But you see someone who's not drinking and you getting a little bit tipsy more and more. You feel like, oh, that's actually gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Feel ashamed kind of thing, like drinking in front of someone who doesn't want to drink. But yeah, and it takes I don't know, like you said, it's so socially accepted and socially weird if you don't drink, you know what I mean? To say no, it was hard for me at the beginning as well, you know. So I just one drink, but that's the problem with me. It was never just one drink. You just keep going, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, these days I'm very good in saying no, I'm not drinking. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
training is important, but there's more important things for me these days.
it's just an entire culture.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it's
is.
just an entire culture around the world where drinking just seems to be something that everyone accepts to be not a real bad thing. But then when you look at the data, alcohol kills more people than any other drug in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy. I think you did it in your last pod. Did you do it in your podcast with the statistics? I listened to you, one of you.
Yeah, it was with Luke. I think the statistic is something like you have to choose a few drugs that makes people worse in their brains over a 50 or 60-year time span. Number one is alcohol. Number two is actually nicotine or caffeine. But nicotine and caffeine are both up there
Wow.
as really messing with your brain. So I mean, caffeine, you got coffee.
Yeah.
Nicotine is in smoking. So I mean, most people either drink and coffee or they smoke, coffee,
All
alcohol, all
together.
three, you know? And they compared that to even cocaine. And apparently they were saying that cocaine use probably doesn't mess you up as much than alcohol.
That's crazy. You know, that's
Yeah, something like that. Don't quote me on that. I just remember reading that somewhere. But I mean, I'm not surprised. And the how I would describe my view is alcohol is one of those drugs where you have some and you progressively become worse and worse and worse mentally.
100%. Yeah.
And that's why I don't think it's a great drug, because if I compare it to something like a cigarette, even though a cigarette we all know is bad for you, you actually become more alert. And you can have a cigarette and drive. You can chain smoke and drive, and you'll not be a bad driver.
Exactly. Yeah. Compared
Yeah.
to alcohol, for
Compared
sure.
to you change drinking alcohol, you're gonna crash someone.
That's true. Like alcohol is this thing. Like that's the thing. For me, when I came here, I was 21 when I came to Australia, and like backpacking the first time away from home. That's when I moved out pretty much. And you have all this freedom suddenly. It was all just a big party for many years. For many years it was all a big party, and it's always fun until it's not fun anymore, because sooner or later alcohol, it will, like any drug, it will become a problem. You just do it for fun, then you do it a little bit more than fun, and suddenly you're there every day. And
Mhm.
suddenly it takes over your life for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Well, we have a binge drinking culture here.
And
Like
same in Germany. Now we have a
same in
big
Germany?
It's just Germany is a big drinking, beer. Like I said, for me as a kid, seeing my dad coming home, go to the bathroom, wash his hand, open a beer was normal. But I talk to my German friends here. This is normal. That's how we all grew up back then. That was just the culture. It's just beer. But I never during the week saw my dad drunk. For him, like having one or two beer in the evening was normal. But I don't remember he was drunk at that stage. So it was just a normal thing to see. To be honest, that's like how it is. That's how it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how it is. Yes, I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain it. That's what you
It's what you're
do.
used to.
Yeah, what you used to. That's what you see. And of course, and as a kid, you see this, you think this is normal. So you start drinking. In Germany, you actually can, you're allowed to drink when you're 16. Like they
Wow.
call it soft alcohol, so you can drink beer and wine, no spirits at that age. So of course, when I started in 16, you are actually allowed to go into clubs. So until midnight. By midnight, you have to. So there was a club in my city. You go with your ID. They keep the ID at the front door, and by midnight you have to get out. If not, they come in. They look for you. But
Oh, okay.
16, you can go into clubs till midnight, and you can
Very
start.
progressive.
Very progressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it's start early. So you start early with 16, like you go drinking, hanging around. In our generation, like we always laugh. I don't know if kids these days still doing it, but we were hanging around petrol stations with 16, 17, and just drink there. You can buy beer in Germany in a petrol station. So you just sit there as a teenager and you sit there and drink beer at a petrol station. It's just normal back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Days, but yeah, I think nothing has changed much, to be honest.
Yeah. That's the cool thing to do.
It's a cool thing to do. That's what you did. You were cool. You go there when you're 16, 17, because you can't go to some clubs. You have to be 18 at some clubs. So you said, oh, damn it, let's go to the petrol station and get drunk. That's what you did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Man, I remember the first time I had alcohol, I couldn't understand it.
I still don't understand it, because I remember beer the first time. I didn't like it. I still don't like beer, to be honest.
Nobody likes it though. Nobody likes it the first time.
Yeah, nobody likes it, but you do it because everyone does it and it's cool. I think
Mm.
that's all. Like, it's still beer. I drink here and there beer, but it's not my favorite thing to drink, to be honest. It's just not. Still, yeah, people always say, are you German? You don't like beer? I said, no, I never really actually liked the taste.
Mm.
My friend and I were also talking about coffee. The first time I drank coffee, it was disgusting.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah, Sam.
horrible. I put 3 sugars in there. I used to drink because I found it disgusting. But
Mm.
Germany was not a big coffee culture, so I started drinking coffee when I came to Australia, actually, because it's huge here. So I had 3 sugars in my coffee always, and suddenly you have less and less and less. And now I drink no sugar anymore. Now coffee and sugar is just disgusting. I don't know how people drink coffee and sugar.
Do you have milk?
I have milk, yeah.
Okay.
But I used to work as a barista during my studies in Australia. But now I just drink. I used to drink a lot of coffee. But when you work on the coffee machine, you always have coffee because you're bored. Sometimes you make yourself a coffee on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Now I
But
just
it does smell, I gotta say, coffee smells good.
I love the smell. Like
Yeah.
I have a coffee machine at home, a proper one, like in a shop, just like the Breville's,
Mm.
those ones. And I still love making coffee. I love the smell of coffee. I still drink it, but I'm trying to drink only one in the morning, and that's it.
Mm.
To reduce a lot. And when I'm running, like when I did the run Brisbane to Sydney or my long runs, I don't drink any coffee. Like especially after a long run, I can't drink coffee because I guess I'm already so dehydrated. It gives me the shakes. It is too much for me. I just can't handle it.
Mm.
And but yeah, coffee is still once a day in the morning, a double shot latte. That's all I drink.
That's a good combination. I usually just get a single if I do drink now. I stopped drinking coffee about 8 weeks ago. But
Okay.
I've been on and off coffee for years because there's times when I get my ego gets in the way where it's like I tell myself, you're addicted. You know, you can't function without a coffee every day. You're so weak. You're so addicted. And then I would just go cold turkey, and I'd quit coffee for months.
Mm.
And to be honest, my mental state actually gets really, really good when I'm not having that much coffee. But then slowly, I think it was lifestyle. I slept late, woke up early, whatever it was. I really needed just more sleep. That's what I needed. But instead, I just had more coffee.
Yeah,
And
like
it,
coffee, I don't know. Like I don't know. Honestly, I said to my nutritionist because she said, "Did you buy some gels with caffeine?"
Mhm.
They don't do anything. Like honestly, I don't feel that it does anything. Like you hear some people that are taking caffeine during the run and they suddenly feel this rush and stuff. For me,
That
it's
was
like,
me.
yeah, no, nothing for me. I don't feel it honestly. Like
Uh,
because I used to drink too much. I don't know. You know, my tolerance is maybe so high. But for me, it's like I have a coffee gel, and it's like, well, I don't know. I don't feel any difference, to be honest. You know.
Man, the first time I took my coffee gel, I think I was going for 27. And I had, my mate gave me this real nice looking one too. It was in a silver package and it just sounded cool. And he
Yeah.
had a few milligrams of caffeine and I thought, all right, well, he said, take it. So I think I was 15 Ks in and I had, 12 more to go. And I have it. It tastes like coffee running. And I think, oh, this tastes like shit, blah, 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 blah. I shit you not, man. 5 minutes later, I felt like my whole world went zoom, and
I
all I could see was the past. That's all I could see. And I was running maybe a 4:45, a 5:45, cruising. Coffee hit 5:15, 5:15, 5:15, 5:15. I felt nothing, bro. I was just running. I wasn't having any breathing problems, and I thought, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe having caffeine during a run makes you this much faster.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking actually, like it would be a good experiment to stop with coffee for a while, 2, 3 weeks, go on a run and take a coffee gel and see how you then, if it's really hits,
Mm.
you know what I mean, when you didn't have coffee for a while and then you go again, how the difference will be. Yeah.
For me, when I have a coffee now, so maybe I'll have one or two a week, just a single shot, and I'll usually have it just at a cafe with my girlfriend. I actually notice that the days that I have coffee, I can enjoy it a lot more and I get a small buzz.
Okay.
I can appreciate the buzz, but I don't necessarily need the buzz anymore because most days I just drink like a simple green tea or something. But there's something about the caffeine from coffee that gives you a different level of buzz.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like it. For me, it's also like a relaxing thing. I don't know. After I work in the morning, like I have 6 a.m. classes. I come home after a couple of classes, make myself a coffee, sit down, relax a little bit. It's like kind of this downtime for me as well.
Yeah.
Before I then go do some weight training. Like I never drink coffee before a run. It just, I don't know. Maybe it's the milk. It doesn't sit well in my stomach.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Can't do it. So I usually don't drink coffee before I run. When I do the strength session, I don't mind. That works. And yeah, but it's like call some kind of downtime for me as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
I heard you talk
what I
about,
like
yeah,
what I
sorry.
like sorry, yeah, what I liked about coffee in terms of your thoughts. If anything, it for me when I have coffee, it gets you more into like a doing mode. Like you just become you're more able to focus and just do things. Very different to alcohol, because like you say, alcohol just creates a
Just
hugely depressive mood.
uh, alcohol, you just want to lie down and do nothing. But even days after, you just don't. And like I said, I don't drink much. It's very rare that I drink. Like the last block or 2 blocks, I probably didn't drink anything, to be honest. But when I sometimes I say, okay, I have 1 or 2 beers, even sometimes 2, 3 beers these days. The whole next week, you just don't feel like doing absolutely nothing. It just hits me so badly that I say that's not worth it for me anymore. Alcohol, like, and yeah, I really think alcohol doesn't taste good, to be honest. It's just like you get so used to it that it becomes normal, that actually doesn't taste good, but you drink so much, you get used to some things, and it really is like, oh no, yeah, I'm glad this is in the past, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got for Christmas, my girlfriend and I, we have so much wine and beer here from parties and stuff. We can't even store it anymore because we both rarely drink, It's like everything is in a bloody closet these days, the alcohol.
Well, that's the issue with why alcohol is so dangerous, because everyone sees it as a celebration drug.
Yeah, exactly. Celebrate for everything. If you're in a bad mood, you drink alcohol. You're in a good mood, you
You
drink
drink
alcohol.
alcohol. If you got
Celebrate.
nothing to do, you drink
Yeah,
alcohol.
exactly. Yeah.
Alcohol is just this thing that is so ingrained in most people. Well,
Yeah.
like you mentioned something earlier about how you would go home, you would see your dad drink,
Yeah.
and that was normal. But
Small.
like with you, if you do plan to have children one day, it's like your children come home and they're gonna see you go for a run.
I mean, kids, that's kid, right? We learn what we see as kids, you know what I mean? So I'm teaching kids as well, and that's the thing. Like, I think your biggest trauma or learning phase as a kid is what you see or do as a kid, you know what I mean? And so once a statistic about, because I started training so early when I was 5 years old, if you get your kids into training from a very young age, the likelihood that they will do this for the rest of their life is very, very high. Like that's beautiful. Like I always encourage parents asking me, "Oh, what do you think? What sport should I put my kid in?" I said, "Whatever he wants to do. And if he doesn't like it anymore, that's good as well. He knows what he doesn't like. Move on to the next one.
For sure.
Try things out. Like, and that's great. You know what I mean? Like you learn so much as a kid, and you never saw this when I was a young PT. I've been a PT now full time for 9 years, and I really, really struggled at the beginning. I couldn't understand that someone who is my age or younger can do a squat. I couldn't believe that, you know what I mean? So for me, all training my whole life, I took it for granted, to be honest, you know what I mean? Like for me, a squat, yeah, easy. You just do a squat. What is to explain there? There's nothing to explain. You just squat, you know? It's like things I took for granted, but I saw people, they never trained their life. They don't understand that. So that's where I really struggled at the beginning or being a PT, because I like, how should I explain it? Like it's a squat. What is to explain there? Like it was really, really hard for me. And there were so many things, different sports and stuff I tried out. I adapted so quickly because you have body awareness. From a young age, you learn body awareness so much. I think that's a beautiful thing, to be honest, to have, a beautiful skill to have.
I think body awareness is something that is so overlooked in the way we look at somebody's life. People, we measure a lot of people on certain metrics in life, like how much money does he have, or or can they make, what education do they have, what degree do they have, whatever. But not many people will ever look at somebody who moves really well and be like, oh, that's a really valuable skill to have. Because most people don't see it as something that is incredibly valuable. But then when you actually have it, you just realize that the world is so different when you can learn a physical skill so easily, when you can move and train whenever you want to. It's such a different world.
100%. And it's the thing, like I think from a young age, right? Once we hit kindergarten or school especially, we get categorized so quickly always in if we're good or if we're bad. Everything is about us, right? Numbers, if you're a good student or if you're a bad student. And I think that in your head as a child, I think can be really traumatizing when you get old, to be honest, as well. Like you only, it's either you're good or you're bad. You're a good student. If you're bad in school, you're not gonna make anything out of you in life. You're gonna be the rubbish man or whatever, like you back in the day, they used to say this. You listen in school, you're gonna do one day the rubbish. And now you're older and you think, well, someone has to do it. There's nothing bad. It's still living, you know what I mean? Someone tries to survive, make money. There's nothing bad about it as well, But I think, yeah, this all comes together in later on in life, and you punish yourself for what you learned as a kid, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, that was me as a kid. As a kid, the system I was in, I didn't click to me very early how like you're supposed to study, how school works and all that. It didn't click to me. So it wasn't my teachers that said it, but my mum, not in a bad way, but she would always remind me that if you didn't do academically well, it was somehow related to being a bad child. You know, and I think for me it took a long time to realize that she was just wrong, and I was pretty good at a lot of things, just not what she thought I was good at.
Yeah, like school was also like I loved PE classes. I was always good at PE classes.
Yeah, same.
PE, I think the only time I always was looking forward to go to school, to be honest. English was just a disaster. I was really English.
Me too, though. Me too. I
Oh,
grew up here. My English was a
even
disaster.
the German was also horrible. Now my German, I think, is even worse than my English these days. It's really bad. Like the grammar is just upside down. Everything, it just drives me nuts. And yeah, but it's a one thing when you really put time into something. I really learned, like especially here coming to Australia, and I barely spoke any word in English. You know what I mean? How quickly you can learn something if you really surround yourself into something. Like all my friends I had were like Australian or backpackers, so we had to talk in English. If you surround yourself with people like this, how quickly you can learn a new skill. It, like after 1 year, like I had almost no problem anymore with understanding. Speaking, I think that comes more from school again, with that being shy or doing mistakes. And so that was amazing to see. Like same with the running, how quickly you can improve just following structure. I mean, it was also is a thing. Like I said, I think yeah, if you struggle and get structure in your life, I think that helped me a lot. Even if I always wanted to be never that person, have structure in my life. And so German, like people always say, "You're not German." I said, "Yes, I'm German." I said, "No, you don't have any structure." But yeah, structure does help. Yeah, it does help in your life for sure.
You need a balance. I think you need to have structure, and you also need to have when you break out of structure. You know, you've probably had those clients who they're so structured that there's nothing in their life that isn't planned.
Yeah,
there's zero plan, and they always panic when things don't go according to plan.
it's like, yeah, especially 100%. Like people are sometimes just suddenly so committed that I want a pizza. Just have the damn pizza, so I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like me these days. I always say I think everything is, like you said, true, especially with nutrition balance, also in weight loss, if you think about it all the time, just get a bloody Snickers or the pizza, whatever you want. Trust me, you have it. It will be out of your head and you feel great afterwards, Or you probably regret it and I said, I actually didn't like it that much. Good, I don't need it anymore in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually have that with smoking, because I do enjoy smoking, but I also know it's not good for me.
Yeah.
So I don't do it very often. But every so often, I would say I have a cycle of about 12 weeks, just 12 weeks. I always get an itch.
Okay.
And I'm very careful with what I watch. But when I was watching Peaky Blinders, have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I haven't. No.
It's a gangster series, and
No,
they're
I know
always smoking.
yeah, smoking, yeah.
Yeah, they're
English.
always smoking. And there was this period of time when I was watching the series, and I just kept looking at this, like I just kept looking at the cigarette. So I just thought, you know what? It's on my mind. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna get a deck. I'm gonna smoke some of it, and we'll see how we go. So I got a deck. I spent way too much money on this deck, $30 something, which is stupid. Come home, light a cigarette. I smoke half of it, and I just looked at it and I thought, I don't want this at all. This tastes like shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like because you saw it, right? Like when I don't know when you grew up, I mean, I grew up watching all the movies. Everyone was smoking all the time. Just the other day, my girlfriend and I, we watched The Bear. I don't know if you watched the series, but the guy smokes, and my girlfriend, I haven't seen a guy smoking on TV for ages, because you don't see it that much anymore. Back was normal. And I always said I tried smoking a couple of times, but I don't know, still don't know what people enjoy about it. I never liked the taste, so I never was a smoker. I tried it here and there, like again when I was drunk, be cool, have a ciggy. But I never liked it, honestly, and I don't see what people get out of smoking. I just didn't like it. But I always loved watching smoking people in movies or on the street.
Oh, they're so cool.
So relaxing as well, you just
Yeah.
sit there, you're so relaxed and present, in that moment. I always found that's why I always wanted to try smoking and wanted to smoke, because I always found it so cool to see people watching. But I never got into it. I just don't like the smoke. Every time I tried, my lungs, I'm just coughing the shit out of me. I just can't do it.
Yeah, and it's not a good habit to have.
Yeah.
And I have experienced what you just talked about, where I was traveling and I would be sitting by a mountainside and it's all quiet. You just want to have a cigarette by yourself. And it does feel really, really good. The only time it becomes a problem is when, like alcohol, it becomes a crutch for something. Like I think if you have pain or you have anxiety or whatever, some people use smoking as a way to make themselves feel better. I think that's a terrible way to start. Like any substance is a terrible way to start doing that stuff. But every once in a while, if I'm in the right setting, I'll have one and I can enjoy it for that moment and I'm done with it.
But see, that's what you just said reminded me. I just had a conversation with a mate about it, because he was surprised that I'm not drinking that much anymore, and he still drinks a lot. And I said to him, running, I think, and I believe this, you go from one addiction to another addiction. And I think that's running for me. That's what got me away from alcohol, which is running is not a bad addiction in that way when you think about. Yeah, but I think, and I heard this from some podcasts, that a lot of, especially ultra runners, comes from some kind of trauma. I was reading that a lot and heard that a lot. So, and I think for me as well, to be honest, that got me away from drinking. I just have another addiction now, to be honest. It got me away from alcohol. I think that helped,
Yeah, we all are addicted to something. And I think the way we label it is addiction always means bad. But really, if you think about most of the world, we're all addicted. Not all of us, you and I, we're self-employed, but a lot of people, they're mainly addicted to a paycheck.
Yeah, true.
There's a guy that Dan reads. I read him as well. He's a great philosopher. His name's Nassim Taleb. Have you heard about him?
No.
He wrote a book at Anti-Fragile. I think you'll love this book. Dan loves it. I love the book.
Name of the book?
Anti-Fragile.
So I have to,
I think you'll really like this book, because there's a component where he talks about exercise, and look, half of it it's wrong because he doesn't understand the science, or he can, but he hasn't read into it that deeply. But his concept is very solid. Basically, there's this part where he talks about money, and he says the most dangerous addiction that most of us will ever fall into is the paycheck. Every week you get, like, whatever money you get, and you hate your life. You don't like to do what you do, but because you're addicted to the stability of the paycheck, you continue.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly like you said. Is stability, right? Is safety for a lot of people, and yeah. But like for me, transition into PT was not that hard, because ever since I came to Australia, I was always casual. I was a backpacker, so I never had this thing with holiday pay or sick leave. Since I came to Australia, I never had it. So for me, it was just normal kind of thing, right? And trust me, there were times I wished, like, I said, oh, how good would it be now? Stay at home, call sick, and get paid for that.
Yeah.
Really, absolutely. One of those days, I like my industry. I like the way it is, and sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I don't want to do it either. At the end, I realized it's just a job as well. You find routine with it in working for yourself, but I still most of the time love it. What it gives me, and even if I sometimes wish, like, how good would it be now? Call sick. But it's now all in up. Like, I love it. I love being outside. in the fresh air. And yeah, I mean, like every job, there are days I don't want to get up either. Like running. There are days I absolutely don't want to do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that makes us human. Like that's just normal. Like everyone feels so, but everyone always thinks that this guy must love everything about his life. No, I used to hate my fucking life for a long time.
Mm,
You know.
mm, mm,
But
mm.
it's like, yeah, when I have to say, there's only I think a lot of things. Once you get older and older, there's more things you understand, and you don't take too serious anymore. And that's it sounds always like an old man speech, but it's true. There's a lot of things.
But that's wisdom, though.
Yeah, you only understand when you get older, and all the
What are a
things.
few things that you now understand that you didn't when you were younger?
The same thing Dan said, no feeling lasts forever. And the thing, from every bad thing literally came something better, to be honest. Something came out of it. Like if I got fired at a job, or suddenly they didn't need me anymore, and you suddenly stand there like, shit, how should I survive next week? You know what I mean?
Mm, mm,
And there was also whatever happened, sometimes you don't have enough savings, somehow you always managed it. And I think that also comes back, thank God, to backpacking. When there were weeks I just ate instant noodle for $1. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but as older as you get, you think you need more, but you don't need more. You know what I mean? Like, and I said this to my friend: the happiest I've ever been since now, before that, was my backpacker times. I had not much, honestly, but I had not much, but the people I've met was just magical, honestly. I had such a great time, honestly, and the traveling, just meeting different cultures. And because you grow up in your country, you think this is life, but there's so much more. There's so
Mm,
much more to life. And high school people I teach in schools, when they ask me, I don't know what to study, I say, go and travel for a year. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I say the same thing.
Best thing you can do, honestly. You meet different cultures and how other people live, and you think like, Jesus, and you thought you had a bad life, whatever bad life is for you, like
Mm, mm.
that's crazy. So how some people, where they come from, how they live and everything, like, guess. And again, there's sometimes like nothing to complain about your life. Like a friend of mine, he lives in the Gold Coast, and after my run, I told him I stopped, and this guy suffered the last 2 years for cancer. Same thing, and I complain about a bloody run. Yeah, there's nothing to
Mm.
complain about it. You know what I mean? There's so much more, there's so much worse in the world. Like, as long as you are healthy, that's another thing you understand. When you get older, health truly is everything. You know what I mean? I saw it with my mom, back to organ donation. Health truly is everything. With 46, she almost passed away. So health truly is everything. No money in the world can give this. And you hear about
No.
cases with people have cancer, the family bloody billionaires couldn't save her. Your money is truly not everything. You know what I mean? It
Mm.
makes comfortable and makes a lot of things easier, and it takes pressure off you. I saw this on myself when I had times I didn't have much money. You get anxious, you're more tense, you know what I mean? Because you think, oh shit, how should I pay rent next week? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're already credit card already in minus, and it's like, oh damn it,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
things like that. It takes pressure off you for sure as well. But I truly believe, and I've never been a bloody millionaire, but I believe, like most millionaires say, I believe this these days, that money truly is not everything. Like, you see billionaires, they're fucking miserable. How can
Yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah,
I should have everything. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, it's what you mentioned about when you were backpacking and you had nothing. There's this quote that I think it was on a Squid Game, but I'm pretty sure a lot of rich people say it too. Those rich people who came from nothing.
Yeah.
They say there's not too much difference between somebody who has nothing and somebody who has everything. When you have nothing and you survive, you are fine. You realize that I don't need money to survive, or very little money. But then when you are really, 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 really rich and you don't need money ever again, you also realize I didn't need all that money in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
So like they're kind of the same person. Whereas it's the people in the middle who, like, they're always looking to make more and they're not happy with what they have. Those are the ones who always think that more money is going to make them like better or happier, but really it's not.
It's true. Like, like when I was younger, still living in Germany, I always needed the newest sneakers. I was like Lucas. Luke and I have a lot of similarity. I think we are like the same age, same generation. I still have in Germany, my parents' house, a lot of limited edition Jordans and all the stuff. I used to be a sneakerhead as well.
Mhm.
And there's another thing. Like you always think you needed stuff. You need the newest watch, the newest phone, and all this stuff, and you're so careful with things like with running shoes, like but I'm still with running shoes the same shit. Like I buy the new, it's raining, I wear the old ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Wear the old ones
Yeah.
until it's like the new ones are a little bit dirty after like 2 weeks, and you don't give a damn anymore about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah.
it's funny like that. It really is. I think everyone, we go through this time course of maturing and realizing all the things that you thought you wanted in your 20s, you don't really want them in your 30s anymore. And maybe, who knows, maybe when you hit your 40s and 50s, you look back in your 30s and you think, maybe there was things during that time that I really didn't need either.
So funny to see, to be honest. I teach at Sydney Uni as well. I teach boxing there, and I have some friends on Instagram now with them. They're like 19, 20, 21, and they're doing all those fancy reels and showing about the goals with the Ferrari, the big Rolex and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And now I look at my goals then and now. For me, honestly, the happiest these days, I go with my friends to the bush, make a fire, and just chill and have a good conversation, have my peace. That's all I need these days.
Yeah.
All worth it, than having all those glimmy things and stuff. It's so funny to see, but I used to be like that. I always, oh yeah, one day I have a Porsche, I'm successful. I'm probably not. Maybe you're not. Not many people, just because they drive a Porsche, are successful. Like we know, most of them, probably the bank owns it. Who knows?
Yeah. They
So,
finance it. They're paying it off for the next 6 years. Yeah.
whatever. But it's funny to see that. But yeah, these days, just having peace. I think that's what all my older friends saying. All I want is just peace in life. I don't need headache anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then you choose something to disrupt your peace, because sometimes you have too much peace.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
exactly.
everything's too easy. Everything's too calm.
Yeah,
Let's go for a run.
next days go for a run. Let's do crazy. Yeah, like I don't know. Some of my friends said I have a midlife crisis. What I mean? Running, I don't know, but it's a good addiction, and I love it. Like running, the community. Like I was also like every time I run or I did a big thing, like runners texting me, like people literally who hold records. The community is so beautiful. It's just amazing that the love, and everyone wants you to succeed. It's just beautiful to see, honestly. Like that, so motivating as well, to be honest. Like, what, this guy's texting me, he's like here. It's just beautiful. Like it's amazing, the support. Like, and that's something like I was, like I said before, struggling with. I was never a big talker, but yeah, like I really learned as well. I'm still struggling with that, but I'm a little bit better with it. That help is there if you just open your mouth. Like people will help you. You always think you have to do everything by myself. And I'm like that. I always think I can do it by myself. I can do it by myself. And why should I contact Dan, a coach? I'm a coach. I should do this by myself. You know what I mean? Like losing the fear of that you don't know anything. Like you can't know everything at the same time. You know what I mean? And that help is there if you want it. And that, I think, that's when you get older, you realize this more as well, that actually if you open your mouth, people are willing to help you, actually, and give you tips and help along the way.
Yeah, for sure. And if you once you open your mouth to help others, to ask for help, you're more likely to be asked for help too. And giving is so it's so profound how it feels to just give, to help others. It's like when you help others, you really do help yourself.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. That's good. Really nice.
Okay. So what's next? I mean, we've spoken for almost 2 hours, man, but let's finish off
Well, so
with
yeah,
the run. So what's next? What's the run looking like? When are we going to try it again?
Christmas break. So I'm gonna go again. Brisbane to Sydney will be during the Christmas break. Like I said,
Summertime.
Yeah, summertime gonna be a little bit warmer. So
Hopefully not that warm.
yeah, like Christmas is funny, right? Can be still sometimes Christmas is just bloody pissing down. So who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
Who can be okay, but yeah. Like I definitely want to go Christmas. The reason why Christmas, my girlfriend is off as well of work, so she's coming with me this time. And I don't want to wait till next year until it gets cooler. I talked to Dan about it as well. I think I don't need to train another year. I'm still in training. I'm not going to detrain that much. I still run 200 kilometers last week. So this week I didn't run anything. I think I'm still okay.
Yeah, I think you're okay, man.
I'm still okay. But it's just, yeah, more rehab stuff the first few weeks, bicycle and do some stuff. I mean, slowly getting back into running before the volume gets a little bit higher. So yeah, I think Dan is going to write a program next week. From the week after, I will start training with him. So next week, just bicycle and stuff like that, little training strength sessions by myself at home. And yeah, then give it another crack on Christmas. Yeah. Yeah.
And if people want to follow what you're doing, how can they find you?
Best thing is Instagram. It's body hit. It's my Instagram with double I, hit with double I. They can find me there. And yeah, I will do more for organ donation and stuff as well.
Yeah, and you'll also have the organ donation link on your Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's in my bio. It's in my bio.
Okay, great. Well, Sash, man, thank you so much for joining me. That was a really awesome chat. It flew by. It really flew by.
Well, I didn't even realize it's been 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours, but what a great story, man. And like we spoke about in the podcast, it's only the first practice attempt. You know, you're gonna have another, and if it worst case scenario is the next one is another practice attempt. And
That's
like
it.
that lady in that documentary, it might take a few goes, but it's that mindset and the people who you inspire along the way.
Yeah, no, like it's like, yeah, people texting me, I'm inspirational. I was like, what? I didn't even I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. It only takes one person, man. One person within wherever you are to start doing it, and then your friends start running, whoever starts running, some person who's been following you starts running. So yeah, don't underestimate what you've achieved, but also the fact that you were smart enough to tell yourself it's time to stop and whatever, I can do this again next time. I feel like that's really important too, because a lot of people are going through stuff thinking that they have to push through, when if they take a step back and reassess, they might actually get there a bit better. So that in itself is also very valuable.
True, that's true. No, thank you very much for today, man. It was a pleasure to be on here.
Thanks, Sash. And guys, thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.